Welcome to Torchmate, where we've been bringing affordable CNC cutting systems to manufacturers worldwide for over 30 years. Not only does Torchmate offer more options and accessories than any other CNC manufacturer on the market, we lead the industry in providing quality CNC cutting systems at a price that makes them available to everyone. And because we know our success hinges on yours, we provide unparalleled and readily accessible trained support staff to ensure your experience and production are optimized. Consider Torchmate as your first and only choice when it comes to purchasing CNC plasma cutting systems and CNC routers. So again, welcome to Torchmate. Let's meet the Torchmate family and check out these amazing machines. Welcome to the Torchmate Growth Series. As you or your company grows, our machines grow with you based on your needs. The 2x2 becomes the 2x4, and the 2x4 becomes the 4x4. The 2x2, 2x4, and 4x4 will change the way you make parts in your home, school, or small fabrication shop with its design, precision, mobility, and ease of use. This incredible addition to the Torchmate family is designed to bring CNC plasma cutting, routing, drilling, and plate marking to you in one tooling solution. With the creation of these mini machines, shops everywhere can now add CNC technology and robotics to their arsenal of tools for quality production or prototyping needs. And when you purchase a Torchmate 2x2, 2x4, or 4x4, you're ready to get started immediately. It comes with everything you need. Just add the plasma cutter and a computer, and you're all set. The Torchmate 1 is the quintessential do-it-yourself kit, requiring about 40 hours of welding, tacking, measuring, and putting together your own gantry and table from our directions using your steel. Torchmate will provide the motors and the software and the electronics, as well as the directions and support. Meant for both plasma and oxy-fuel, the Torchmate 1's the perfect solution for a small shop or companies on a budget. So we're here with Jake and to talk more about our Torchmate 1 from a technical and a support perspective. Jake, what are your thoughts on the Torchmate 1?
Well, when it comes to the Torchmate 1, it's a complete weld-together package. It's for the master welder on a thin budget. Torchmate Tech Support's here to support that build and get you where you need to be, and then even beyond that.
How many hours of labor do you think it takes to build one of these?
If you got a little time set off to the side, you're probably looking at about 40 hours from weld, $500 in extra material costs.
So the customer is going to buy their own local steel from our directions?
Correct, yeah, and the parts that are provided to it follow our instructions via CD or download, whatever they request. And they just start welding it together and just make sure it's square. So
basically a welding kit designed for someone who does it all day long and wants to save some money.
If you know what you're doing with a welder, it's your perfect do-it-yourself kit.
Yeah. The Torchmate 1, an incredible tool at an incredible cost. Next, we'll look at the Torchmate machines for continuous oxy-fuel and plasma use in industrial settings. We want to welcome you to the Torchmate 2 CNC cutting machine. We have literally sold thousands of these machines over the past 10 years, ranging in sizes from 4x4 to 6x20. The Torchmate 2 comes in two formats: a gantry kit where you make your own table from your steel, we supply the directions, and it also comes in a bolt together where there is no welding required and you assemble with simple hand tools, ranging in about 8 hours time, giving you your own industrial CNC plasma cutting machine that is comparable to machines in the market, costing well over $50,000. The Torchmate 2 was also designed for continuous plasma or oxy-fuel industrial applications and is a true workhorse. It uses precision components for the Y-axis, and its electronics are fully equipped for up to 3 axes of motion, including an optional 4th Z-axis for routing and drilling options. We're here with Jake, one of our many support technicians, talking about the Torchmate 2 and what he enjoys from a support perspective on the unit.
Well, Josh, on the support side of the table, I think that the Torchmate 2 is probably the most universal and belt-built, table. I mean, as far as continuous production. I like the universal side of things, being able to plasma cut, oxyacetylene, plate mark, tube cut, but it has other applications such as routing. You just lay up a sheet, load up a file, set your depths. It'll route out anything that you actually want it to do. It will definitely produce a circle. I mean, it's got a very rigid gantry. If you're moving parts, it's easy to actually work and maintain. Overall, it's a very fun machine to work with, and it does work very well, very well. Whatever you got for personal imagination and what you can produce from the table is just, the sky's beyond the limit of what you can do with the machine.
So simplicity is something you touch on.
It's probably the biggest because everybody likes simple.
Coming up next, the Torchmate 3, the big brother of the Torchmate 2. Meet the Torchmate 3. This machine comes in two forms just like the Torchmate 2. A bolt together where the customer assembles aluminum extrusion provided by us. Usually takes about 8 hours to assemble. The other option is what we call a gantry kit, where the customer uses their own locally purchased steel to weld up a table frame based off of our directions and specs. This light industrial workhorse has features not found in the Torchmate 2, such as dual drive X-axis motors and a massive 3x6 inch extruded aluminum construction. The Torchmate 3 weighs in at approximately 450 pounds, and the 4x8 features the ability to hold a 5/8 inch mild steel plate on the cutting area, offering the stiffness and rigidity of many steel machines, weighing in 4 times more. You'll also see the slats are higher than the loading surface, so that you can load with a forklift easily and not drag your blades across the rails. The Torchmate 3 comes with dual 380-ounce-inch motors on the X-axis and one 380-ounce-inch motor on the Y-axis, featuring precision cutting speeds of up to 500 inches per minute. The girthy construction of the Torchmate 3 has been tested for positioning accuracy at 1/1000th of an inch. I'm here standing next to the Torchmate 3 with Jack Douglas, our design engineer, and wanted to talk with Jack briefly about what he likes about our Torchmate 3 so much, coming from a design perspective.
Well, the Torchmate 3 takes the ease of use found in all Torchmate machines and rolls it into a package that's coupled with gearboxes and easy forklift loading, making a nice package for light industrial work or full production.
So the Torchmate 3 has some design changes to the Torchmate 2. The gear rack's upside down. Jack, why is that?
Well, we found that in most heavy-duty shops or heavy-duty applications, the gear rack was in the way or was just prone to getting dirty. So we put it on the outside and put it upside down. Keeps everything clean and allows the machine to maintain its accuracy running 24 hours a day.
Yeah, makes sense. Also, different than the Torchmate 2, we have 3 drive motors, 2 on the X. What's the purpose there?
Well, one, with the dropped rail for forklift loading, putting a drive shaft on there would be really impractical. But also it adds power that can be found in heavy-duty machines and allows us to do light-duty routing or have faster cutting speeds.
With the gear reduction in the motor size, what do you think the end power is, or how fast can we go on this machine?
Well, we could be looking at easily 500 inches a minute, and milling of even aluminum or, plastics, wood, foam goes through like butter.
So the Torchmate 3 has a drop-down rail, higher than the other side. Why is that?
Well, it's to make forklift loading substantially easier. So you come in with your forks, drop your material, and then you can back out without endangering any of the critical control components.
So what you're saying is if you're loading in a shop with a forklift, Torchmate 3 is a great answer.
Absolutely.
Great. Well, let's say goodbye to the TM3 Beast and move on to the Torchmate X, the X Factor. When speed and production are a must, you'll want to take a look at the maximum value of a Torchmate X. The X, with its steel gantry and regal construction, can ensure reliability and production repeatability day after day with the precision linear slide and cassette and rack and pinion system. The Torchmate X is quickly not becoming the industry's best kept secret. The X today and the X's future is likened to the calm before the storm. It has positioned itself as the machine that will change the future of automation and certainly will take the market by storm. The Torchmate X Gantry Kit also provides, hands down, the best value in CNC market and is always up for the job, any size of job. A Torchmate X Gantry Kit offers the end user the opportunity to save money by purchasing steel locally, fabricating the table themselves using our provided schematics, and in some cases is the perfect fit when shipping costs are a concern. So I'm here with Daniel, our production cutting operator. Daniel, having come into this company, never used the CNC machine before, what are your thoughts?
When I first came into it, I was a little intimidated. I'd never used anything like this before. For a couple of days, I had some of the guys helping me and teach me a few things. Really, it's an easy to learn, easy to pick up machine. All it really takes is basic computer knowledge and you're set. After a few days, I was fine and off and running on my own. After a couple of weeks, I actually started designing my own stuff and cutting it out, making it look good.
So we have a lot of machines we're making here in the shop. Give me an idea of how much steel we pass over this table.
On this table alone, we pass over about 20,000 pounds a week.
Wow, it's a lot of metal.
Yes, it is.
Cool, thanks.
Thank you.
So pretty exciting seeing that Torchmate X run, cutting our production parts for the rest of the company, the machines we're making. I'm here standing with Mark Leverett, our production manager. What are your thoughts on the process we have going here?
The product that we make is second to none at an affordable price. The average person can afford to buy what we produce. Anywhere from our 2x2 that a person can have in their garage to the X table that we make them 40 feet long by 14 feet wide for the huge production facility.
So you come from a large fabrication background,
yes,
and you didn't have these machines, I'm sure, when you were growing up. But
no.
If you had, how would it have changed the game? How has it changed the game for you?
Number one, it excites me because I can be more creative in what I do, but I can do it faster too.
Okay.
And I do not have to send it out to somebody else to have them do it, wait for 5 days, 6 days to get it done. I can do it, have it done in 15 minutes, and there's so many different options that you can use on our machines too, as far as plate marking or oxy or plasma. One feature that I like about the plate marking is that you can actually use it to put part numbers on parts for identification purposes.
Has this changed the way you look at building?
I could have done things so much faster, so much more accurate. It's phenomenal what you can do with these machines.
Coming up, if you're looking for an industrial router, we've got you covered. The RouterMate was designed from the ground up for the sole purpose of routing and milling. Its table is adjustable in height from 6 inches to 34 inches, and in addition, each of the table cross slat brackets is adjustable left and right, allowing side clamping of larger parts. The cross slats can also be mounted vertically by adjusting the end brackets. The RouterMate also has an additional independent vertical stops to allow one person to change the height and all surfaces of the cross brackets. It is also offered as a finished turnkey machine or as a cost-effective gantry kit. Coming up next, we'll look at the vast array of options and accessories available at Torchmate. Like I said before, Torchmate offers more options and accessories than any other plasma CNC manufacturer on the market. And we take pride in personalizing each and every machine to fit your needs and budget. So here we are in front of our Torchmate X turnkey machine. As you can see, I've got 3 processes mounted up to the gantry. Plasma cutter machine torch attached to our arc voltage height control to raise and lower the torch for bending material. I've also got a plate marker, which is a pneumatic air scribe with a carbide tip. I can write on the material, bend lines, part numbers, drill centers, even logos, shading, and artwork. And then lastly, I've got an oxyacetylene torch for your real thick material, 1/2 inch mild steel all the way through 13 inches thick. The X is built to hold all these accessories so that you can still hit your designated width with either process. Next, we're going to check out the tube cutter. Now, this is a cool attachment. What you're looking at is the Torchmate tube cutter. I've got a 3-jaw lathe chuck that grabs the round pipe or tube and spins it as the plasma cutter comes and does its job for any shape on top. This is what I call an end mount tube cutter. The other option is what we would call a side mount. It actually hangs outside of the frame rails and runs the length of the machine, so you get a longer piece of tube in there. Not only do our machines cut flat plate, we're cutting round pipe at this point. Opens up another dimension of steel you can cut. Here we are in front of the Torchmate X gantry once again. A couple more options to talk about. Remote pendant, press a few buttons, control the entire gantry from the palm of my hand. Also have a laser crosshair. I can shoot down an exact crosshair to show where the plasma is going to fire. Got oxyacetylene torch, 3 hose, 1 acetylene preheat, 1 high pressure, and 1 low pressure. Arc voltage height control, the plate marker. Also got precision ground rails for ultimate precision on your X-axis. We sell a full line of plasma consumables. Not only do I sell air-air consumables, but I sell air-oxygen plasmas as well as high-definition plasma cutters. Just so exciting how many different options you can put on these machines. For a closer look at these accessories, feel free to check us out at torchmate.com or talk to someone in our sales department for a complete understanding of our products. And finally, let's talk to one of the experts here at Torchmate and learn more about the software that drives all of these amazing machines.
Hi, this is Jack, and we're going to check out Torchmate software. We have the Torchmate CAD and also the Torchmate driver software. The Torchmate CAD is a simple, easy to use CAD software that is fully supported by Torchmate. It allows you to bring in scanned images as well as just draw any shape, tool pathing, cut order, cut sequence, and it also can bring in any DXF from other programs. So if you're drawing in another CAD software, there's no reason to stop there. Or if you have a bunch of files that have already been drawn for you, you can bring them into Torchmate CAD and get them ready to cut. So let's check out Torchmate CAD and see what we can do. With the Torchmate CAD, there's the tools here on the left-hand side. So we'll start with just the shape tools and draw a basic shape to start. We'll start with a rectangle here. To draw a rectangle, I'll select the rectangle tool, and then I'll just click and drag, and that'll place my rectangle. Once it's placed, I can go in the top here and just type in the exact dimensions that I want that rectangle to be. For instance, if we wanted to make a 4-inch by 3.5-inch rectangle, just type it in and Torchmate CAD will size it for you. From there, what I can do is place, say, a circle right in the middle of that. Just go ahead and select the circle tool, click and drag, and that'll create my circle. I can then size that to be a 2-inch diameter circle. And then I can just create a center point basically for that circle so that I can center everything up off of that. Now we have a circle inside of a rectangle that we can get ready for cutting here. We'll select both objects and we'll tell the computer that the circle is part of the square, so it's a hole now. And what that does is it tells the computer, here's my square with a hole cut out of it. With Torchmate CAD, the important thing that it does is it will do tool paths. So anytime you're cutting, you want to specify the cut order. So you want to cut your inside parts out before your outside parts. You want to have a lead in, because when plasma pierces, the pierce point is a bit wider than the rest of the cut. So you don't want to start right on the cut. You want to pierce, say, in the middle of your circle and move in and pierce on the outside of your part. And you also want to offset, because when you're cutting with plasma, there's a certain thickness to that cut, and if you cut right on the line that you drew, your part's not going to come out the right size. So Torchmate CAD, when you tool path, will do all three of those automatically. So we'll just start out here, just create a tool path, tell it the length of the lead-in I want, tell it the tool that I'm using so it knows how much to offset, and we'll create that tool path. And so what you can see that Torchmate CAD did as I zoom in here is we have our original object and we have the tool path it created. The tool path it created is offset a bit to the outside for that thickness of the cut, so that when you actually cut it out, you'll get the right size rectangle. It also created a lead-in, which is this is where it's going to start cutting, so that you're piercing and you're not messing up your actual cut. So if we zoom out here and we look at the inside, we can see that it's cutting on the inside here, so you get the right size shape. The nice thing about Torchmate CAD is whether you're drawing in here or drawing in another program, bringing it into Torchmate CAD and tool pathing ensures that you're getting the right size parts with a clean cut every time. This is ready for cutting, and if we wanted to, we could go take this out and cut it. But we want to do a more advanced shape, so I'll delete the tool path for now. We have our advanced shape here. Let's say we wanted to round a corner. I can go up to transform and tell it to round a corner. Enter the radius of the corner. Click on the corner I want to round, and then close it. So now that corner is rounded. At the same time, if I wanted to insert a slot, I can do that and I'll turn off the fill here. Just a useful tool to keep track of where your holes are and everything, but go ahead and draw a slot in here. I can size this as to whatever I want. I can then tell the CAD I want to cut this out as a slot. Get rid of our little remnant here. So now we have a slot in this part. Again, if we wanted to cut this out, we can go ahead and just toolpath it. Torchmate CAD is useful for drawing pretty much any shape, but if you had a bitmap, a JPG, or any other type of image from the internet or something you've drawn in another program, you can bring that in and create a toolpath on it as well and get that ready to cut. So I'll bring in an image here real quick. I'll go ahead and place that. Now it's rather small, and I can just grab it and size it up, or again, just like anything else, I can type in the size that I want. Let's make it 5 inches by 5 inches. We'll just zoom in on that. So here we have a bitmap, just something drew up off the internet. I'll go ahead and convert it just to black and white, so no grays or anything like that, and then we'll use our scan tools that are built into Torchmate CAD, and we'll go ahead and just do a quick trace on this. And what Torchmate CAD will do is it'll go around and it'll find all of the lines of the image there, so we can close that now. And what we have is we have our original bitmap, and if I move that off to the side, we have the trace of the bitmap that we just did here. This is a simple trace of this object, and depending on what type of object this is or what quality of image you have, the trace settings can be changed to get you the best quality. So we're done with this image, and now we can go ahead and delete that, and we can work with our trace and get it ready to cut something out here. So the first thing that I see is we want to go ahead and tell Torchmate CAD that this is all one object. And we can see in here that it sees it all as cutouts and everything like that. Now, one thing that when you're bringing in any image, it's just going to go ahead and trace that image. And that image might not be suitable for cutting right off the bat, but we can make it as such. So I can see here on these little rims that we just cut those out. Those little things will just fall right out. They're not attached. So we can either bridge them to the rest of the sign, or we can even just get rid of them. So for this one, we'll just go ahead and get rid of them. We're cutting something out here pretty small. So I'll, again, turn off our fill and go ahead and break this into the individual components. So now I can go ahead and select all of these individual components, get rid of whatever I want. So I'll go ahead and get rid of the inside of these tires. And then I'll go ahead and make it one object again. So now what we're left with is just a nice simple little sign created from a bitmap image. So I can go ahead and toolpath this. So we'll go create a toolpath, cutting with plasma, and we're going to have a lead in. So hit OK, and now we've created that. So I can go ahead and select my toolpath, and I can export this out. Take it to the cutting software. So we'll call this sign 1. So we'll open up the Torchmate driver software here, and this is the software that controls the table, comes with all Torchmate tables, and we'll go ahead and import in the toolpath we just created. So it's sign 1 right here. And it's going to want to create the G-code, which is the industry standard cutting commands for any machining process. So I'll go ahead and save that as well. And then it's going to allow us to specify our cut speed. And that depends on the material that you're cutting as well as the torch you're using. So for our particular application, we're going to go 95 inches a minute. I'll go ahead and hit OK there, and it's going to bring this in. So what the Torchmate driver software has done, it's created a G-code based on the toolpath that we created, and it's also given you a visual display of how it's going to cut. So there's solid lines that indicate actual cuts, and there's dotted lines that indicate where it's going to move. So I can go ahead and just hit start here, and it's going to go ahead and simulate exactly what it's done. And we can see that because we toolpath in the Torchmate CAD, the driver software is cutting out the inside of the parts first, so the inside cuts, and then once it's finished with that, it's going to go ahead and cut that outside out. So as the driver software is running, it's giving you kind of a countdown here of how long the program is going to take, as well as what line of G-code it's on. So now that it's finished, it will return home, part's cut and looks good, we're ready to go. A couple other things I just want to show you real quick before we take this out and cut it out. Back in the Torchmate CAD software, and this is really where we spend most of our time. The driver software really just controls the table and cuts out what we draw. So we'll go ahead and I just want to show a couple other things for you guys. As mentioned, Torchmate CAD can bring in a DXF from any other program. So I have a DXF drawn in a different CAD software that I'll go ahead and just import in here. And again, just like the scanned image, I'll place it. It's going to give me some options as far as how I want to export that DXF, and these options can be set based on what program's creating that DXF. What Torchmate CAD did is it imported in this DXF created in another program, and now I'm able to treat this just like anything else in Torchmate CAD. I can toolpath this, I can nest it, I can duplicate it, and I can actually make changes to it. So for this one, I just want to show nesting. What nesting allows you to do, and I'll turn on our material blank here. Nesting allows us to have the computer automatically go through and arrange parts and maximize the amount of material that you're going to be using. So we have our imported DXF here, but I'm going to go ahead and just quickly draw a few basic other shapes to show what Torchmate CAD can do. So we'll have a couple little arches here and maybe a couple polygons. And then what I'm going to do just real quick is make a bunch of copies of these that we want to cut out. And then I can go ahead and I can go up to nesting here. And what nesting is going to do is it's going to start at a certain corner, go a certain direction, try rotating parts in a certain amount that I've specified, as well as space between the edge of the material, space between the parts, mirroring the parts, fitting the parts together. Once I hit apply here, the computer's going to go ahead and think for a second and try and arrange all these parts. So as it finishes up here, you can see that it went through and arranged all the parts to maximize the use of your material. Torchmate CAD can do this with one part or can do it with thousands of parts. And it creates a money-saving option for you when you're drawing with Torchmate CAD. So these parts could be toolpathed and recut as well. So we've looked at a couple features of Torchmate CAD, and these are by no means all of them. With your Torchmate CAD purchase, or with any of our table purchases, you get free and unlimited technical support. They can answer questions about Torchmate CAD or anything else. Torchmate has all of the tutorials as well as how-to videos online available for download, so you can check those out as well.
Torchmate originated in 1979 when we started selling our first shape cutting machines called the Torchmate Pantograph. In 1977, we launched the Torchmate line of CNC cutting machines and haven't slowed down since, continuing to add new products to their line of quality machines at an affordable price. Torchmate has always had a simple vision: to put automated, affordable cutting tools in the hands of everyone, not just the fabricating elite. Experience Torchmate today. Check us out at torchmate.com or give us a call and talk to one of our experienced representatives. You'll be glad you did.